All right. Awesome. Looks like we're live. Sweet. Thank you all that's been waiting, and thank you for your patience. We're just trying to get everything set up for all of you and for us on this side. And yeah, so it's great to be back with all of you once again. Great to see you again, Team Two. And so today is a special. This is the last of our Collab Pioneer Challenge, the last team that we have, Team Two. And so we're going to be looking at what they have been working on in Collab, and we're going to jump into VR and take a look at that. They have two separate rooms of some things that they put together, and we'll get into the nitty gritty of that, which is just basically too much stuff in a room, and so they need to create two rooms, and this is all part of the research for Collab and making it better. So, and this is why we're doing it. So thank you all for joining, Matt, Colin, and Ekaterina. I'll just quickly introduce myself, and then I'll throw it over to you. And if you maybe just want to do just a super brief statement on what you focused on for your project, and then I guess we'll hop into VR. A little bit of context if you're joining that and you don't know what this is even about. Basically, we ran a challenge with some select designers and creators to basically test out Collab before we released it to the general community. And so the point of that was to gain research and insights into making Collab better, any features we could add, and that's still ongoing. So we also put everybody in teams to create something for a prompt, and the prompt was redefining blank. So it's pretty open-ended, basically allowing them to do whatever they wanted, and we had a mix of footwear designers, industrial designers, automotive, and they all got together to solve for this this prompt that we gave. And so this is our last team that we're looking at. If you want to see more, you can check out our community interviews playlist and see the other teams. And there will be an eventual winner that will be decided amongst the teams themselves. And yeah, so that's basically a little bit of a nutshell of what the challenge was about. So myself, my name's Jaron Dorman. I'm the design community manager at Gravity Sketch, and I get to communicate with all of you out there, listen to your wants and desires, and basically be your advocate for the Gravity Sketch team. So it's great to interact with all of you. But enough about all that. I'm just going to throw it over to you guys. Katerina, why don't you start? Introduce yourself. Just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do, and we can just go down the line.
Yeah, sure. Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Ekaterina Savicina. I'm a footwear designer, and I've just been exploring Gravity Sketch for over a year now, using it mainly for designing shoes. And I recently started working with Arts University Bournemouth, and we're designing courses for businesses and also for students how to use Gravity Sketch to upskill their, whether it's product design or fashion, any other design out there. So what I have created in a collab room was just a reflection of what I'm going through at the moment. And it was great to collaborate with the guys from America and to learn some of the great techniques from them. And it's just a shame that we were not able to put everything into the room just because, technical issues. Otherwise, you could probably see how my room potentially would be fitted into their virtual space. So the space that I created was to show how a student or professional can present their work that they created in VR. And I'm not going to talk any more about this. You'll probably be better to see it in VR, and then you will understand what I'm talking about.
Awesome. Matt and Colin?
Yes. Yeah, I could go. So my name's Matt. I'm one of the founders of a additive manufacturing design studio with Colin over here. We're called Studio. We're a multidisciplinary design practice, a consultancy agency, and we do all of our work in Gravity Sketch. But yeah, it's super excited to be here, and it was great working with Kate across the pond. It was really cool to be working in collab with somebody on a different part of the globe. It was really unique. But yeah, throw it over to Colin.
Hey guys, my name is Colin Kerner, co-founder of Studio here with Matt, and we really used this challenge to basically see what could be done with two parties on different sides of the globe, and just really sort of present work, like Kate said, that we're currently doing, and see how we can redefine presentation basically, and redefine progress and how it means to share progression. So all the technical difficulties aside, it was still a great challenge, and we still had a lot of meaningful time to chop up with Kate in the VR realm. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into Kate's room.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome. I'll switch over the feed. Okay. Awesome. I'll zoom out here. And it's all good on my side. So, Katerina, whenever you're ready, feel free to take it away.
Okay, cool. So I've just turned off my mic in VR. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, cool. So what I have created here is just a presentation of somebody who is potentially working to their client or to their job interview to showcase their portfolio. And it might be better seen with a darker background. I'm just going to quickly switch it.
Sure.
I do like this background.
Yeah, go right ahead.
You changed to, but I'm just going to quickly change it to black. Here you go. So here's this girl with some wires in her helmet. I don't know if you can see there are some USB sticks.
Yeah.
Sort of representing me when I do VR, when I'm plugged into different devices. And so this technique, which Matt and Colin showed me, multiplications of strokes and also ink, is a great technique to fill in some spaces and just to create shapes very quickly. So originally I was going to use it to create some shoes, but I realized that this technique is better for creating something like this dress and this bag, to give the general presentation of the shape that you're trying to create without going into sub-Ds and trying to complicate things with overcomplicated shapes. So what I have got here is a retail space where you will be able to see, if we start from the very first shoe here on the left, a gentleman is holding the white shoe, the same model but just different color. This was my first shoe created in Gravity Sketch, and so then here on the next column you have got the same one, just different colors. And then I was able to increase the laces, delete the upper, and make slide sandals from it, which was really quick and easy in Gravity Sketch. And when I created this pair, I sort of started evolving on how I can really create something that can be wearable. Because when I 3D printed this slides, I realized that they didn't fit me. So I started using Last, which was provided in Gravity Sketch in prefabs. And I modeled this pink and gray slide sandals with Saracena on top of them. And so then I took them to Voronezeta, and if you come a little bit closer to black slide sandals, just because it's OBJ image, you have to really zoom in onto it, and then it changes. Does it change for you?
You're talking about this one here?
The next one.
The very
Oh, this
last
one. Oh, sorry. Okay, there we go.
just next to the dress. Yeah, so you just need to really zoom onto it, and then it changes. Can you see it?
Yeah, the it's like a mesh
Yeah.
type of structure,
Okay,
right?
perfect. It's
Yeah.
just when you zoom out, it looks a little bit different.
Right, right. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah. So then I had a company who approached me, and they wanted to create some wedding dresses, and they were looking at possibility of using Gravity Sketch. So this is the model that I have created for them, just to show how quick and easy this can be done in Gravity Sketch. And this was created within about half an hour or so.
Wow.
Just using prefabs and just extending and deleting some of the sub-Ds. So here is just a representation how it would look like in a boutique store or sports store. And here on the right are some of my recent models. Sneakers. The first 3 sneakers have got the same sock, and when I was creating a tutorial, which is an introduction tutorial for Arts University Bournemouth, I created basically 3 uppers and 3 outsoles, and the tutorial was just very simple and easy, just to show the opportunities and possibilities that you can have in Gravity Sketch, and how quick and easy that could be. Create one model and then switch the upper, switch the outsole, and then you can have more than 20 different options, and then you can delete some of the features on the model, and the students can do that themselves without any complication of going into sub-Ds and creating the 3D model themselves. So the next one was a pair of court shoes, which I have got here a lady trying on the same model but just different colors, and by adding the image to the outsole, it makes the model completely different. And lastly, I think I'm moving some of the objects here without trying to manipulate. Okay, and lastly, here's the model that I have created in Gravity Sketch. Again, that was for the tutorial that I was creating. And all the tutorials will be available at the Arts University Bournemouth, and I've also created a logo which is called Design in VR, which is my recent recent business that I have set up in order to have the partnership with Arts University Bournemouth. And this is what we aim to do, is to create these tutorials and for people to learn how to design in VR.
Well, this is just awesome. What a cool presentation space, Katrina. It's really cool to see your progression through using the tool from the beginning all the way to just like the various different projects you've been involved with the dress and this mesh sandal here. It's just really cool to see. I love it. It's and also the forms are really cool too. The design of the sandals and the shoes are really cool. So are you working on any 3D printing projects right now? Are you working to
Yeah, I am based at the Innovation Studios at Arts University, and they have got every 3D printer that you can find on the planet. And I'm really lucky to be based there because this is where I have developed some of my previous projects, and the advanced course that we're designing will be actually based on creating something in Gravity Sketch and 3D printing it as well. So I'm working with some great technicians there who are very knowledgeable in 3D printing. So hopefully we will 3D print some wearable footwear.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm working on some 3D printing shoes myself as a side project. So
That's awesome.
I'm really
Have you tried wearing them?
really been into it. I have, yes.
Oh, amazing.
But they didn't fit, just like what happened with you. So
yes, exactly.
lots to learn. So
yeah.
But yeah, this is just really cool. And yeah, and as we mentioned before, I know that it was kind of hard for you and the rest of the team to get together in Collab just because of data and lag and all that. And frankly, we just want to be transparent and open with all that because I mean this is for you, for the community, and we want to know when there's issues arising, and we want to know where it's coming from, and because we want to make it the best that it can be. And so, yeah, and that's actually why we did this challenge, and why we had these Collab Pioneers come on and use Collab, was actually to stress test and to get and to actually find these issues that we've been experiencing. So it's been a huge help with you all being part of the process. And now that it's out for everyone, now the information for feedback is growing. But yeah, this is just really cool. And so what do you think might be next to Katarina? So is it this last model here? Is this something that you're gonna 3D print, like this the last model here? I didn't know if that's what you said, but
what is next for me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy with working at the Arts University Bournemouth and also working on some of my other projects. I find Gravity Sketch very useful and just quick and easy to model things, and I have been enjoying creating those videos, and it seems that this is something that has been missing at the university, and we have received a great feedback. The courses that have been advertised there, they're already fully booked, and people are very excited, and we just had a first session last week and it went really well. We're going to have the next session tomorrow, and I just really enjoy teaching people and just being involved in such a innovative design area, because I have been a footwear designer for a few years, but this has just brought a whole lot of other meaning to my career, and has created so much opportunity that I just want to grab onto it and just continue developing and evolving. And the Gravity Sketch team has been so supportive. So it's a great community, and it's so good to be a part of it. So thank you.
Awesome. Yes. Well, thank you very much. Well, it's just cool. Really great work, Katrina. I didn't know if you had any comments, Matt and Colin, at all before we maybe switch over to the other space.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, we planned on doing this sort of like retail presentation space all in the same room, but yeah, Kate really killed it in this room with using the copied stroke tool, which we like to use a lot in our workflow. But yeah, we really wish we could have had all of this displayed in the same space. Um,
Yeah, and I think when we go to the other space, you'll see the visual language continue
yeah.
and see the connection. Because I can see how this would have integrated with that. So great. So let's why don't we switch over to the other room real quick? Just go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna go here. All right. Wait for this to load. And by the way, if anybody out there has any questions about the project, about Collab, please ask. I'll be looking at the chat and happy to answer any questions. If you have any questions for Katrina, Matt, or Colin, I'll be happy to throw those over to them too. So let's see. Let's try and I might actually have to close this and reopen again, actually.
I'm just now getting in the room. It's loading for me.
Okay. Here we go.
There's Jaren. Matt. It's downloading a bunch of assets. I don't know if that's happening for any of y'all, but
Yeah, it's got to do that every time.
just taking.
It's black like it was for me before. I think it's because everything that we've turned back on. If you guys could just turn off the most of the environment, and I'm gonna try and rejoin. I think that should work.
Kate, are you loaded in okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It's still loading for me, but I can see the road and some of the buildings here.
Sorry, everybody. Just still trying to get in. Just bear with me. We can also trim this bit for when the video is done being live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Okay, there we go. This is all part of technology live, everyone. So, okay, so you guys turn the environment off. Did you guys turn the environment off?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We will probably be able to turn it back on once I join. I just think that's the tricky part is the joining bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the sun in the background. That's enough. Enough of a scene.
Okay. Looks like I'm in. Awesome.
Sweet.
And we're just gonna smooth that. Okay. We should be okay now.
Sweet.
It's just a little choppy on the feed, it looks like, on the stream, but that's okay.
Yeah, let's just get inside this building.
Okay.
I think everything will be maybe better, maybe worse.
Okay.
It's hard for me to move.
All right. Are we starting on the bottom?
Yeah, the bottom floor. Yeah, it's fine once you get in here.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Feel free to start whenever you guys are ready. I'm ready.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, much like Case Room, this is sort of designed to be a presentation space / gallery where we, users and different VR artists can show off their work. We have a multitude of different objects in here that we've designed before, like this jacket that I've been working on, which I'm really excited to revisit now that the thicken feature's out, because I see like a really good use case for textiles with the surface thicken feature now, which is really exciting. Over behind you are some masks that Colin and I designed. Funnily enough, we had a prompt in college to design N95 respirators back in 2018 before we knew any of this was happening, which is a little pretty funny, but
Wow.
Yeah, designed entirely in Gravity Sketch. Everything in this entire room, obviously, but everything Matt and I make is designed almost entirely in Gravity Sketch and then either 3D printed or made in some way. But GS is our ideal ideation tool. But here's some, just examples of vases using the polar symmetry tool. None of these we've actually printed, but we have printed and do currently print and sell Gravity Sketch vessels, vases, and all kinds of full scale and small scale objects. Matt's headset just died, so it might just be me in here
it's
now.
just cool.
Which is another common tragedy of the Oculus Quest 2, if we're to give it a product review right now. But this is actually a whole drum kit that Matt modeled using entirely Gravity Sketch.
That's super cool.
And yeah, he really went crazy on all the detailing of like the metal and all the intricacies of it. But yeah, we're just in here sort of showing some stuff that we've done in GS, and really we were hoping to do this with Kate, as Matt said earlier, in like a big just presentation hall where we all just present all of our stuff. I was able to get some of my footwear models in here on the right side of the room if you make your way over here. Um, and this might be a choppier part of the actual feed just because they are sort of high detailed models. But if you zoom up closer to them, um, you'll maybe get a clear feed.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it
these,
looks.
were, these were actually the second shoe that I ever modeled in GS. And they, speaking on what Kate said of new opportunities and what Gravity Sketch has allowed, these shoes definitely created entirely in Gravity Sketch, and then really, I think, gave me a lot more opportunities in the footwear design industry. This was the second shoe I'd ever even drawn at all, like, I mean, in 3D or 2D, really. So um, it sort of made me take myself more seriously as a footwear designer, which is something I never really considered myself to be in the past.
Right.
And that's really thanks to, Gravity Sketch, and also um, the allowance it has of you to just sort of create rather than worrying about um, the consequences of starting. This was one of the first boot designs, getting more into the crease tool and more detailed tread, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Just seeing what Gravity Sketch Sub D can do. This was it had recently come out at this point. So it dealt with a lot of difficult, technical difficulties and stuff at the beginning, but definitely there's just not another tool really like it. And then being able to present it in this way is really revolutionary. Being able to, with partners, sort of float around a model, much like people have seen with the Adidas presentations and whatnot, but you can sort of do it in any way that you would please. But yeah, this whole building we sort of had to appear to be 3D printed, and then gave you an idea of what that would maybe look like next door, as maybe some of you guys saw. Sort of this house being printed, just because we think that homes could be designed in Gravity Sketch and 3D printed, just like these shoes could be, just like the furniture. Being really glitchy. I'm sorry if my headset is just sort of like taking up space on your screen.
No, well, it looks fine.
If you come into this back room, we weren't able to put a whole lot in here because obviously all these sub D bodies just have a lot of triangles. So I think it's giving it a bit of a hard time. This is a completely modeled in Gravity Sketch Lounge chair that Matt and I worked on partially as students at Tech. I guess entirely as undergraduate ID students at Virginia Tech. Yeah, so completely modeled in Gravity Sketch, and then this was actually manufactured using 3D printed frame and machined plywood seat and backrest. But this has been all over our Instagram, and we're really proud of this being the first chair of its kind. Just to say that it's the first chair modeled entirely in Gravity Sketch, and then also 3D printed predominantly out of plastic. Really the first of its kind, and it's what has led Matt and I to start the design practice that we have. But yeah, over in this corner, we just sort of have a presentation of the separate parts and how they would fit together, how they're printed, each separately and each flat, and then they're taken off of their print bed and sequentially put together, sort of like a lot like Legos. And then the seat and backrest were flip machined, so they were placed on a CNC bed flat like so, and machined on one side and then flipped and machined on the other side to give them 3D contours. But we really loved modeling the seat and back in Gravity Sketch because with using the mannequins and different ergonomic tools that GS allows, real-time viewing, and especially with this was back in co-creation when it was called that rather than the newer Collab name. But nevertheless, we created this entire chair in co-creation, Matt and I did. And yeah, we're super proud of it, and it's super efficient and is put together with no hardware or glue. So the pieces you see here are it's the chair, which is all VR parts, and we think that that's pretty cool. There's no foreign hardware or glues.
That's super awesome. When I first saw this chair, I thought it was really I love the look, love the design. It's pretty unique. I haven't seen anything quite like it. And yeah, I've always loved this chair. Since I first
modeled
saw it.
after the Eames LCW. That's where we
Right,
took
right.
inspiration. And Matt and I consider ourselves sort of like
VR DJs,
yeah, VR DJs, like
remixing.
remixing stuff that's been done, products in the same way that a song might be taken and sampled.
Yeah.
And Gravity Sketch is the tool to do that with reference images. And I'm making my way upstairs in a really glitchy manner, but I'm getting up there. If you guys just want to somehow ascend with me, it's getting pretty choppy, but I think once I settle.
Yeah, it looks smooth. It looks smooth for me at least.
Okay. Well, these little chairs up here, ignore the coffee table. It's sort of just a quick placeholder, but yeah, these two chairs that we have actually printed did start as just bridge curves like this. I'm realizing I can now go in and with the new GS feature, I could thicken them really quick, which is super cool. But this is how we print them, so it's kind of neat to present them like this because they get sent to the robot as a strand of data. So it's just a 2 strokes bridge by a curve. And then, yeah, printed full scale. And these chairs also exist in reality. You can see them on our Instagram, printed in a basalt reinforced PETG via robotic arm. We have some videos and stuff on our Instagram, so definitely go check them out. And then also behind you, Jaren, we have a, sorry if my if my headset looks like it's just bobbing back and forth. I'm trying to get to a point where I'm not really glitchy.
No, it's totally fine.
Oh no. I'll try to describe, even though I can't see what you're looking at.
I'm looking at the lamps, I think.
Yeah, the lamps. This is a lighting project that Matt and I worked on, along with our good friend Easton. And we used Gravity Sketch entirely to ideate and create this oil lamp. We actually ended up calling it Oil Lamp, just OI, carrying over the L. But yeah, Oil Lamp was a low energy, sort of sustainable lighting solution that we have conceptualized through 3D printed borosilicate glass. I'm finally like not glitching out, so I can describe this a little bit better. Yeah, grabbing one of these. So it's made up of just a wall bracket and then borosilicate glass top piece, as you can see I'm holding here. And basically a small burner underneath that would be lit by kerosene, clean burning fuel in some way, and controlled through these little knobs down here. But basically like a contemporary turn to a very old product. So it's something that you can take around with you by grabbing this machine disc that sort of joins all of it together, and you can see the internals and everything. But yeah, modeling in Gravity Sketch, just there's nothing really like it, and it allowed us to also early on in co-creation, Matt and I, to get in the same space and start thinking about what something would look like together in real time. And yeah, I think Gravity Sketch did a repost on this, and it's a project that we're super proud of, and we've actually seen some things come along that sort of look similar to it, or you know, have definitely been working in the same direction. So we think that although it is a novel project, it does have like real application with the 3D printed glass, and the fact that it was modeled in VR, it could actually be made. And that's Matt and I's whole thing, is that a lot of people use Gravity Sketch and they're like, oh, cool, like, you know, I can finally get my ideas out. And like, yes, that's absolutely true, and you can absolutely get your ideas quickly on paper, but creating real products is what Matt and I are into.
Yeah.
And Gravity Sketch is capable of creating robust 3D models, robust enough for them to be manufactured. And so, yeah, studio's job and, what Matt and I feel responsible in doing is definitely showing that, and doing that with sustainable materials. So over here, just some placeholder chairs. I think this was, this red chair is actually a prefab, I think. And then this is like a quick, just a quick drawn chair, just, something very quick. It's something done actually really early on. I think I drew this chair a while ago, probably in early 2020. But just thinking of really, really quick ways to get a mannequin in here looking comfortable, and then seeing if it's possible to actually create it. But yeah, that's pretty much what we packed into this room. Just a little bit of all of our work, what we could manage to fit in here. And yeah, I mean, that's something I will say. Like currently, I'm trying to just like migrate through this room, and I think that's like a big problem that we face was just simple technical difficulties of the data sort of being too much for the headset to handle.
Yeah.
And so it's really not Gravity Sketch as much as it is the headset. But I'm just excited to see more capable headsets that can run GS more smoothly. Because originally I thought maybe it's because the collab servers have gotten a little bit more filled, and we got more people creating together than ever. But I do think it is more so a hardware issue, just because I think people who are either tethering or like you, Jaren, you're running off a Rift, right? I mean, it seems like you're wearing a Rift.
Yeah.
I think the Rift just runs a lot more smoothly, probably in Collab, even when there's high data rooms. And yeah, like we mentioned before, that's what kept us two, me and Matt and Kate, sort of out of the same space. But we did what we could here, and yeah, we're just really excited about Collab in general.
Yeah, well, you guys have been able to do a lot, and I love what you've been able to show. And just like, I love the theme of 3D to prototype and to creation and manufacturing. I think that's an aspect of GS that people don't often recognize or think about. I mean, like, it's you pretty much kind of said it, but it's just like, it's not just about getting your ideas out, but you can actually fabricate them too.
Yeah, it's CAD, like it is.
Yeah.
It's computer-aided design, yeah, in a very legitimate way.
Even though we're not trying to replace CAD programs like Fusion or SolidWorks, it is, in essence, it is CAD by the following the acronym, which is virtually aided design, or I don't know how you would even say it. It's definitely interesting.
It's a new thing. It doesn't even have to be. It doesn't have to be the replacement to anything. Like Matt and I's chair, it's not the replacement to the Eames. It's a new chair. It's a completely new thing, and I think Gravity Sketch is exactly that. It's redefining the products that we bring into our life, also how the products we bring into our life, how they're made. So if the ideation is more efficient, it immediately pushes the designer to want the manufacturing to be more efficient.
Right.
I think my headset also just died. Because being in the room, I was at like 60% when we started.
Oh wow, it must have just drained the from
yeah, my headset is so warm, actually. It's crazy.
Probably, I bet the graphics processor is just running crazy.
Yeah, I think that's really what I think it is. So I really don't want to be making a commentary on Gravity Sketch. It's really a hardware issue. But I think once Collab is on these, Quest 3 is bound to come out here soon. Hopefully they have a better processor in there, and everything will be super smooth the way it should be.
Yeah, well, and as I mentioned before, this is why we're doing this. The part of the reason why we did these teams was to talk about these types of things, the technological limitations you know, maybe any improvements that we can do on the Gravity Sketch side too to make this experience as smooth as possible, because the problems that you're having are pretty much guaranteed. That's the problems that the rest of the community is going to be having too. Um, so yeah, it's all super helpful for us and relevant for us. Yeah, and I'm amazed with what you've been able to pull together here amidst the issues that you guys have had. It's just
Yeah,
really
us
cool.
trying to bring in a bunch of sub D bodies is probably not the best idea, but we just show.
Do you by any chance, or just out of curiosity, do you have a lot of imported OBJs at all, or is it just all is it all editable sub D stuff?
It's mostly just like imported local files.
That's probably contributing mostly to the load,
Yeah.
because imported OBJs are triangulated, whereas like a sub D, an editable sub D model made in Gravity Sketch, or you know, originating in Gravity Sketch, has way less geometry to it until you then export it as OBJ and triangulate it. Then you've got way more like mesh. So I would bet my money on that being the biggest contributor, is probably the triangulated meshes in here, which part of our research and our feedback, you know, from talking to you guys and talking to all the other teams, is it would be helpful to know where exactly the load is coming from, you know, in your scene. So is it geometry? Is it shading? Is it images? Because images can play a big factor too if they're like high resolution reference images that you've brought in. So and maybe we do that by layer or something. There's a lot of different ways that could be done. But I think that's actually sort of addressing a little question that we have in the chat here from KPR iMedia, which says, where can we find the load, frame rate, weight per server Collab product services space? Yeah, that's a great question, and
Yeah,
I
that
think
is
that's the type of information that we can maybe try and provide to help with just understanding a little bit more about like how what we do affects the performance of a scene. And so, and the team is already aware of this, and this is something we've discussed briefly. So I think you can expect a solution to that in the future. I don't know. I can't give you really a timeline. I think it's just something that we're looking into and doing some more research on. But yeah, I mean, that's why we're doing this, is to get ways of, you know, almost, you know, knowing that the technology is developing too, and how can we on our side make that process still as smooth as it can be for people using the tool. But yeah, I just want to thank you all for putting all this together, and for everybody out there bearing with us on the, you know, technical challenges and switching rooms and all that. But I guess that's the nature of doing this all live, you know. And so yeah, I just want to thank you all. If anybody has any last questions you'd like to ask, this is a comment. If GS put into the UI HUD with FPS and memory load, etc. Yeah, I mean, that's something that could be done. Is there's a HUD with some information that could be something nice. I don't know if a HUD would be that great if you wanted that floating around in your view. Maybe something that you could just look, you know,
Menu.
yeah, like some sort of menu thing that you could open up. But yeah, well, great work to you, Matt and Colin and Katrina. You're truly pioneering the space of, you know, creating virtually and then fabricating it in the real world. I've been loving seeing all of your projects that you've all been doing, and have been inspired by it. So yeah, I just can't wait to see what you do next. If you're interested in following, please go follow Katrina. I think it's if Katrina, I think you're still here, right? What's your Instagram handle if you want people to go follow you?
Oh, it's Savasina, Savosina.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, please go follow her. She's doing some really amazing stuff.
Thank
And
you so
then,
much.
yeah, and then if you want to follow Matt and Colin, what's the best place to go and check you guys out at?
You can check out most of our stuff at ckmastudio.com is our studio website, and then both of our Instagrams. Mine's just my name, Matt underscore Antez, and Cullen's is SEE_K KAY.
CK, yeah. And Jaron, I've been seeing the shoes that you've been posting, and those look really sweet.
Thank you, thank you. I
I like
appreciate it.
the infill that you've been, or I'm sorry, the support system where you melt it in your, or you dissolve it in your bathtub. That was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah,
We're all looking forward to what you're gonna come up with.
thank you. That means a lot from you guys. Appreciate that. I've just been having fun with it, and I think that's been the spirit of it. And very much, I think I relate to you guys as far as the fun of just like creating something and then having to like feel it and hold it and use it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just really
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah, that's like, I mean, I'll say it again just because that's really Matt and I's focus. I want people to recognize more as like, Gravity Sketch is this like fun, almost game-like experience, but then um, ultimately you can create real things, and we encourage people to create real things. Matt and I want to be, almost educators basically to younger designers, basically younger versions of ourselves that hesitated to make real things because we didn't think that the designs were legitimate, or we didn't have the confidence. But Gravity Sketch, really instilling a new version of design confidence to just take your designs forward and to make them.
yeah,
Something I can't really speak enough on, and it's sort of changed my view of industrial design, my view of efficient manufacturing, and what can be possible with a design career. So
yeah.
yeah, thank you to Gravity Sketch ultimately.
100%. Yeah, good words. Yeah, if anybody's out there, just like get out there and try it. Honestly, that's what I think we all have to say is just try it for yourself and see what you can do with it. Every day, because I'm the design community manager, I'm looking at what the community's doing and getting to observe what people are doing with Gravity Sketch, and it seems like there's a new thing all the time. And so I think it's unfolding with what is possible, not just with Gravity Sketch, not just with, with VR, but just in design. So I'm just excited to be a part of it and watching all of it. But yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. It's I wanted to show this too really quick. I remember that we didn't really talk about this, but you guys have this 3D printed, like basically showing how the house was created
Yeah.
on the outside.
And both of our headsets are dead now, so
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It's really really cool. And there's actually a company here. I'm based in Austin, Texas, that actually does this
yeah.
exact thing. It's really
You're talking
cool.
about Icon? Are you talking about? I mean, there's a bunch of different companies, but Icon 3D I think is
Yeah.
in Austin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's super cool. And I'm not to get off track, but I've been watching a TV show called Lost in Space on Netflix. It's really great, and I noticed the most recent season. I noticed that the architecture that they had on this new planet that they've been populating on was all like 3D printed. It looked like this, like it was 3D printed structures, and they didn't talk about it. But it was just there, like, and you could see it, and it's just like, wow, that's really cool. They're really doing a lot of research into like how these things might actually be done, for colonizing other planets and all that, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, the material that Matt and I were using for some of our earliest furniture prototypes were actually printed out of a material meant for Mars. So
Oh wow.
our university had partnered with NASA to develop housing systems on Mars, and they were specifically sourcing a basalt reinforced PETG polymer to 3D print these homes, but none of that there was one big project that they endured for that, but then all the rest of the material was basically for Matt and I to experiment with. So
That's so cool.
yeah, that's what gave those first pieces of furniture that we saw on the upper floor, the ribbon chair and profile chair. That's what gave them such rigidity and that like reddish, sort of like Mars-like color.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see more of that, more of the 3D printed like structures and architecture.
Yeah.
'Cause I think there's a lot.
And yeah, we just wanted to show that like Gravity Sketch, Matt and I would like to get into all kinds of fabrication scales. So from, you know, from a small handheld scale to potentially designing 3D printable homes in Gravity Sketch. Not just like conceptualizing them, but like, you know, potentially coming up with robust foundational, you know, models and stuff like that. So that's sort of what we're, you know, alluding to a bit in the scene as well. Is just like, well, where does it stop with Gravity Sketch? You know, what's the, if scale is infinite, then we can basically continue to design all things. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me hop out of VR real quick as we close.
Yeah.
Take this off. I'll just I'll switch it over. Awesome. Sorry for the VR face.
now we all have it.
Well, I just want to thank you all again. Really cool stuff. With that, I leave you all. Thank you all for watching. If you jumped in sort of late, this will be available as soon as it's over. If you can just rewind it too, if you're watching right now. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jaren. Thank you,
Thank you,
Kitty.
Darren.